Wow, I just hear God say that He's making His prophets uncomfortable so that they can speak, thus says the Lord. Prophets, it is not a coincidence that the last couple of seasons that you have been in, or that you're in, have been one of much uncomfortability, where a lot of things seems like it's just going off in your life, and it may feel like punishment. It may feel like, oh, you have done something wrong. But I hear God said that do not perceive this incorrectly. This is not punishment. This is not God beating you. This is not anything because of a mistake that you have made. I hear God said that those who are truly anointed and ordained as His prophet, and I'm not just talking an ordination in the natural realm, but I'm talking an ordination in the spiritual realm. That those who are called to be His prophet, that you are in a season of uncomfortability because He's calling you to prophesy, thus says the Lord, and to not prophesy from your soul. There are prophets out there who you have been feeling empty, like there is nothing else in you. And God said, yes, I have allowed you to feel empty, so that which comes from your mouth is not coming from within, because there's nothing inside to come out. He said that which comes from your mouth will come from Him, because when you're empty, you will not be able to speak from your soul. You will have to go to the reservoir. You will have to go to Him for the information to speak it. I hear God said, dear prophets, you're uncomfortable in this season because you are called to say, thus says the Lord. You're not going through hardship just for hardship's sake. You're the mouthpiece of God. And God said He's fine-tuning your speech. He's fine-tuning your words. He's fine-tuning your mouth. He's causing you to become uncomfortable in this season. This is the season of uncomfortability for the prophets of God, because He's calling you to open up your mouth and speak. Thus says the Lord, that you will no longer prophesy from your emotion. You will no longer prophesy from your soul, but He's calling you in this sihaba jevalande lubagova bakata zevenande rubazandai robokotosha lavanande rebegedede. Oh makusha lavadabaha. Oh, that the prophets will open up their mouth and prophesy, thus says the Lord. It's not a time for you to be comfortable. There's work for you to do. There's things for you to speak. It is not time. Dear prophets, stop looking for comfort. Stop looking for a shoulder to cry on. Stop looking for somebody to hold you tight and squeeze you. There's a time and place for everything under the sun. And there's a time for uncomfortability, and there's a time for comfortability. So if the Lord is allowing you to be uncomfortable, then you got to say, God, what is it that you want me to do? As opposed to crying, woe is me. Change your cry. Hey, I hear God say, change your cry. As opposed to crying, why me? Or why is this happening to me? Or why is this happening to my family? Or why is this happening to my wife? Why is this happening to my children? Why is this happening to my husband? As opposed to crying those cry, I hear God say, cry and say, God, what is it you want from me? Nothing is wrong with crying, is how you cry and what you're crying about. I hear God said that He's allowing the prophets to be uncomfortable because He's calling you to speak, thus says the Lord. There are too many prophets out there that are speaking, but they're not speaking, thus says the Lord. There's too many prophets out there that are mouthpiece, and they're not a mouthpiece for God. God is raising up those who are truly ordained in the realm of the Spirit, because you believe that ordination comes from the church, and you believe that the ordination comes from your apostle. But before your apostle can truly ordain you in spirit and in truth, it first has to be done in heaven. It first has to be done in the supernatural realm. God is making you uncomfortable because you have work to do. Prophesy, thus says the Lord. Let the prophets speak, and let them speak, thus says the Lord. Dear church, do not muffle the mouth of your prophets, the real one. Let the prophets speak, and let them speak, thus says the Lord. The Lord will not lift your uncomfortability until you have spoken, just says the Lord. Jeremiah had the fire shut up in his bone until he did what the Lord told him to do. Jonah was swallowed by the fish and in the fish belly. How uncomfortable that is. Imagine trying to breathe inside of something that is living that just swallowed you up, and it doesn't have an umbilical cord. So you're trying to breathe in something, you're trying to survive in something that doesn't have an umbilical cord attached to you to feed you. Why? Because you're not supposed to stay there. You're not supposed to stay there. You're not supposed to stay there. Jonah was not supposed to stay in the whale's belly. There was no umbilical cord from the whale to Jonah. So he couldn't eat. There was no nourishment that was coming to him while he was in there. There was no opportunity for him to breathe, to inhale and exhale properly. The uncomfortability that God has allowed to swallow you up. You're trying to find comfort in the uncomfortability. And God said, first of all, you're not supposed to find comfort in the uncomfortability, because this uncomfortability is to get you to go where God is sending you to go give the word that God is sending you to give. When Jonah came out of the uncomfortability of the whale's belly, he had to go to that town and speak, thus says the Lord. It's a breaking news, prophets. It's a breaking news. And it may not feel like a feel-good message. I'm telling you, I didn't expect to be making this message right now. Like, I literally came home late last night from work, after traveling hours to get home. And I'm literally tired. I was laying down to go back to sleep because I'm off from work today. I don't need to be up at 7 a.m. in the morning. And I was laying here to go back to sleep, and the Lord began to speak. He said, grab your phone. I have something for you to say to my prophets. The Lord is allowing you to be uncomfortable because he wants you to speak, thus says the Lord. Get up and speak, thus says the Lord. Get up and go where the Lord has called you to go. It's not time for comfort. It is time to speak, thus says the Lord.